Today, we're going to embark on a journey into the thrilling and complex world of Attack on Titan, a manga series that has captured the hearts and minds of readers worldwide. The attention to detail in this anime is so outstanding and deliberate that the intricate character sketches and the pulse-pounding action sequences set the perfect tone for all carefully planned out events in the anime. But at the heart of the narrative lies the enigmatic and mysterious source of all living matter, also known as the Shining Centipede. This elusive entity bestows upon select individuals the power to transform into titans, and it is very crucial to the narrative's overarching themes. It serves as a catalyst for many formative events that take place in the series, and its influence on those events shapes the very foundation of the story. Join us as we talk about the most pressing questions surrounding the Shining Centipede and uncover the secrets that lie at the core of this epic tale. This is The Source of All Living Things Origins, explored. What gave Ymir Fritz her powers? Was it God? Was it the devil of all Earth? Or was it something else entirely? The question Eren Kruger passed on to Eren Yeager's father. The very first time you pressed play on the first episode of Attack on Titan, you probably had no idea what you were getting yourself into. As the screen flickered to life, you were immediately thrown into a world of chaos and destruction, and you watched in horror as enormous flesh-eating monsters, known as Titans, tore through the city, leaving nothing but destruction in their wake. Nobody had ever seen anything like it before, and the realization slowly dawned that these creatures were responsible for wiping out nearly all of humanity. Even if you've only seen a few episodes of the anime, you know that the people living inside the walls were taught that 107 years ago, humanity was almost on the brink of annihilation. The Titans had appeared out of nowhere, and almost overnight, they had decimated everything in their path. The survivors were left with no choice but to band together and build massive walls to protect their last stronghold. For over a century, they lived in relative peace, safe behind their fortress walls. But as time passed, complacency set in, and the people began to forget the horrors that had brought them to this point. That was until the Titans appeared again, more vicious and determined than ever before, and it's where our story picked up. But the truth was something far more sinister. The world of Attack on Titan, which was thought to have been destroyed by Titans, was not entirely accurate, as our cranky protagonist Eren Yeager discovered in his father's basement. Eren had always expected to find some sort of dark secret or clue that could have helped him and his friends survive the assault on Parathi Island. He never expected to find a different truth about his world in his father's journals. The man he had always known as his father, Grisha, was not from their isolated island of Parathi, but from an outside nation called Eldia. The mighty nation of Eldia was once an unstoppable force that reigned supreme for nearly 2,000 years and owed its dominance to the remarkable creation, the Nine Titans. These legendary beings were birthed from the fragments of Ymir Fritz's soul and were inherited by the noble bloodlines. The Titans stood as the bedrock of Eldian rule, cementing their power over the entire world. Titans were actually transformed humans, known as the subjects of Ymir, who had existed for nearly 2,000 years. Resembling naked humans with distorted body proportions, their sole purpose in life was to hunt and consume humans. Though their seemingly indestructible bodies gained no sustenance from their victims, their numbers never dwindled. Titans possessed no real intelligence, they acted purely on instinct, except for the Nine Titans and a few rare abnormals who retained some shred of human intelligence. All Titans originated from the subjects of Ymir, who were transformed after being injected with the Titan's spinal fluid, and exceptional Titans, like the founding Titan, had the power to transform humans into Titans. We know this to be true because Zeke Yeager, the possessor of the Beast Titan, could mimic this ability by screaming after injecting his victims with his own spinal fluid. But after Eren Yeager's death and Ymir's decision to relinquish her power, all Titans returned to their human forms, effectively wiping the species out from existence. Or so it seemed. Despite the incredible power wielded by the Nine Titans, the 145th Eldian king, Karl Fritz, destroyed the empire out of shame for the atrocities committed by his people. Most Eldians were taken to the isolated Parathi Island, where they had their memories wiped and were trapped behind 3 walls for protection. The island became a prison for Eldian criminals who were transformed into titans and forced to terrorize the island's inhabitants forever. But Erin's father, Grisha, was part of a group seeking to restore the Eldian monarchy and overthrow the oppressive Marleyan government. He married the royal heiress and had a son named Zeke, who ultimately betrayed his father and joined the Marleyan side. Grisha and his first wife were sent to Parathi, where she was turned into a titan and killed Erin's mother. Grisha was then given a chance at redemption when a Marleyan soldier sent him on a mission to steal the power of the founding titan from Parathi. Despite facing numerous obstacles, Grisha succeeded in his mission only to learn that his second wife had also been eaten by a titan. In a desperate attempt to pass on the power of the titans, Grisha injected Erin with the titan fluid, turning him into a mindless monster that killed his own father. Through his father's journals, Erin uncovered the truth about the world and realized that the Eldians were unfairly vilified by the Marleyans. He began a daring plan to reclaim Eldia's power and technology, staging a coup to take control of Parathi and establish a new Eldian nation. The fate of Eldia rested on Erin's shoulders, and he would stop at nothing to restore his people to their former glory. After a 4-year time jump, Erin and his followers made a bold move that shook the world. They attacked the Marleyan soil in front of international dignitaries without any authorization from Parathi's government. It was a brazen act that showcased Erin's determination to achieve his goal of restoring Eldia to its former glory, no matter the cost. But Erin's mission was not without its detractors, and a faction of 100 soldiers secretly plotted to carry out the Rumbling. This plan would awaken every single titan inside the walls and use them to destroy the world, leaving only Parathi and its people unscathed. It was a radical and dangerous plan that could spark a global conflict and result in untold devastation. The world of Attack on Titan is a enthralling journey through hidden truths and enigmas. The revelation of the source of the Titan's power has been the reason for endless speculation among fans of Attack on Titan, and the series expertly built up hype surrounding its revelation. The ambiguity surrounding the source only added to intrigue, with Grisha Yeager's journals and Eren Kruger's revelations hinting at a connection to the source of all living matter. With the fate of the world hanging onto bits of information that were thrown into the manga, Hajime Isayama finally gave us the connecting piece, and it's something so unexpected and thrilling you won't leave this video without wanting to catch up on the masterfully crafted story about the art of perceived freedom. A nameless entity from an abstract time who does not appreciate being decapitated. The source of all living things, true history. The enigmatic source of all living matter is a baffling phenomenon that bestows Ymir Fritz with the power of the Titans nearly 2 millennia ago. But before we can unravel the mystery surrounding the source, we must take a journey back in time to learn about Ymir Fritz, the very first Titan, because her tale is where the spindly luminescent creature first emerged. Ymir's story began in the wilderness, where she was fleeing her tormentors. 2,000 years ago, Eldians attacked and enslaved Ymir's hometown, resulting in the deaths of her parents and the removal of the survivors' tongues. Ymir's life took a turn for the worse when she was falsely accused of releasing some pigs and hunted down by the tribe's ruler, Fritz. Seeking refuge in a large tree, she made contact with a mysterious force, fell into a pool of liquid, and fused with a spine-like creature. Little did she know that this discovery would change her life forever. This creature, which was the source of all living things, gave her the power of the Titans, and she became the strongest living creature in the entire world. As a result, Ymir's crimes were pardoned, and she ended up serving Fritz instead, accomplishing many great tasks for the Eldians. She even triumphed over Eldia's enemy, Marley, practically all by herself. Fritz rewarded Ymir's service by taking her as his concubine, and they had 3 children. However, Ymir died while saving Fritz from an assassination attempt after acquiring the Titan's power. Fritz forced his daughters to eat Ymir's corpse to perpetuate the practice of passing the power down from one generation to the next. Ymir's power was divided into 9 Titans, which she created for her descendants. While its origins and functions remain shrouded in mystery, its effect on organic life in its proximity are indisputable. The most conspicuous example of this is a gargantuan tree that towered over its surroundings, suggesting that the anomaly has an extraordinary capacity to manipulate and alter living organisms. In the World for Parathi arc, Zeke Yeager awakened in an unknown location to discover Ymir resculpting his wound wounded body with the earth. Zeke, who was a very cunning strategist and current wielder of the Beast of Titan, hypothesized that the power of the Titan's abilities to grant enormous and virtually invincible bodies, as well as a path to eternal life, may have arisen from Ymir Fritz's fears and vulnerabilities regarding death. It seemed that the anomaly also possessed the same abilities as the Titans that arose from its existence, because it was able to transfer anyone it was touching to the fabled coordinate. The war for Parathi had reached a climactic point with Eren holding the power of the founding Titan. After his beheading by Gabby Brown, it seemed as though his story had ended, yet the same strange anomaly emerged from his lifeless body, connecting with Zeke's and transporting Eren's consciousness to the mysterious paths with Ymir. Eren and Zeke had basically activated the founding Titan and found themselves in the paths when Eren noticed Ymir's presence and realized that she was the founder. However, despite Eren's request for her assistance, Ymir shackled him with chains at Zeke's command. The brothers had completely opposing idea about what the future should look like, with Zeke's aligning with Karl Fritz, while Eren's firmly rooted in Eldian restoration. Eventually, Eren broke free of his chains after showing Zeke how he manipulated their father into gaining the founding Titan, and approached Ymir, this time asking for her help instead of commanding her. Eren embraced her, and she revealed that she had waited 2,000 years for him to arrive. Ymir wept, and the wall crumbled, releasing a wave of Colossus Titans as Eren developed a new Titan form. From this fusion between the two founders, Eren emerged as the Doomsday Titan, the beast of the end and a deadly force to be reckoned with. Now joined by the similar cause of freedom, nothing could stop them from seeing the rumbling through to its end. And the source of all living things lay at the center of the great Eldian restoration that was being forged with the blood of the rest of the world.
It's over.
A great rumbling and the end of a cycle, the role that the source of all living things plays in the series finale of Attack on Titan. As Eren set foot on the continental mainland, the rumbling began, and Karl Fritz's Wall Titans marched forward, leaving nothing but chaos in their wake. Wall Titans embarked on a devastating campaign during the Great Rumbling, obliterating all forms of life that crossed their path. The colossal creatures crushed everything in their way, trampling cities and societies and flattening entire ecosystems. Millions of people were killed, and the surviving ones could only flee in terror at the rumble of the footsteps that signaled their end. At that point, the Survey Corps had formed a temporary alliance with some Marleyan soldiers to combat the mutual threat posed by the rumbling. Reiner and Annie were likely preparing to deploy their Titan to battle against the Yeagerists, while Pyke and Falco provided backup. But we know it won't be enough to combat the Doomsday Titan. Spoiler alert, but even the deadly duo of detonation and decapitation will not be enough to deter the anomaly within Eren's body from seeing his vision fulfilled. It will persist, springing forth and emitting a cloud of gas similar to Zeke's spinal fluid, and it will be exactly as chaotic as you're imagining it to be right now. The source of all living things is akin to a cockroach during a nuclear winter, and that is why it, not Eren, is going to be the actual main protagonist of Attack on Titan. Ultimately, the cataclysmic battle of heaven and earth will mark the decisive end for the world of Attack on Titan. Will humanity face crushing defeat in the face of the rumbling, or will we see the eradication of the power of the Titans from the world? Either way, is there any guarantee that even if Eren is defeated, the source won't continue to do what it has always done and just keep on persisting? And what is the influence behind it? While the former is something the final chapters will answer for us soon enough, the latter is something we can talk about right now. An anomaly of evolution. What inspired the source of all living things, and what it might look like in real life? Attack on Titan is a masterfully crafted anime that weaves a tapestry of inspiration from various sources, including mythology, history, and science. The show's mythology draws inspiration from the concept of abiogenesis, according to which life originated from non-life through a gradual process. According to the show's mythology, the first Titans were created when Ymir emerged with a strange spine-like creature in a tree, as mentioned before, and the organic materials that made up their bodies appeared to arise from nothing. This raised intriguing questions about the nature of life and its origins. The religious and mythological inspirations in Attack on Titan are prevalent throughout the series, and it prominently features the Titans, who are depicted as monstrous creatures that represent death. This representation of Titans draws inspiration from various mythologies and religious beliefs, where death is often depicted as a supernatural entity or monster. Mikasa Ackerman's character character draws inspiration from Buddhism. In the series, Mikasa is shown to lead a righteous life despite knowing that death is inevitable. This portrayal is similar to the Buddha's teachings that emphasizes living in the present moment and making every action count. Mikasa embodies the idea of living in the present moment and making the most of every opportunity, even when the situation seems hopeless. Eren Yeager, the series' protagonist, is portrayed as a Christ-like figure. Eren is humanity's only hope against the Titans, and he delivers humanity's first victory after his death and miraculous transformation, which is similar to Christ's resurrection. Eren's ability to move an enormous stone that should be impossible to lift is also similar to the miracles performed by Christ in various religious texts. The worship of the walls in Attack on Titan is also reminiscent of Catholicism, organized religion, or fundamentalist religion. The wall cult has its own trinity of walls and puts Eren, who represents Christ, on trial without him ever committing a crime. This portrayal can be seen as a criticism of organized religion, where individuals are judged for their beliefs without any evidence of wrongdoing. Gnostic symbols are also present in the series. Gnostics believe that the world was an illusion or prison ruled by demons or archons. In Attack on Titan, humans can be seen as archons, and the walls that protect humanity can be seen as an illusion of safety. This belief is also reflected in the actions of the Survey Corps, who leave the walls to capture the Titans and study them to understand their enemies. The characters in this series can also be seen as representations of Gnostic aeons, or divine figures, with Eren representing love, Mikasa representing wisdom, and Armin representing the mind. Fans of the show have noticed abundant nods to Norse mythology. For starters, Ymir, the Iceborn first giant of Norse mythology, met a different fate in Attack on Titans as she was consumed by her daughters and the nobles drank her blood. But like her mythological counterpart, she helped create life in the form of the 9 Titans. Odin's spirit can be seen in the commanders who seek knowledge at any cost, as demonstrated by Hang's lost eye on the journey to the basement. The Ackerman clan and the Berserker clan share a bond of awakening on the battlefield, bestowing them with great strength. Mikasa's fierce battle with Eren is a testament to this connection, much like Thor's unwavering defense against giants in Norse mythology. Also, the time when Ymir and Eren were taken as hostages in Attack on Titan echoes the exchange of hostages between Aesir and Vanir in Norse mythology, which led to the peace agreement between the two. Eren, Armin, and Mikasa also share parallels with Loki, Odin, and Thor respectively, as they undergo similar transformations in their roles as companions and enemies. Bertholdt's position while sleeping brings to mind the Hanged Man tarot card, which may explain his dreams of the Hanging Man. Zeke's powerful horn and its ability to control Titan mirrors the horn of Heimdall in Norse mythology. Erwin, a symbol of war and justice, also loses an arm to a powerful enemy, just like Tyr, the Norse god of war. Finally, the panel of Ymir in Attack on Titan evokes Odin's creation of humans from wood in Norse mythology, while the paths in Attack on Titan closely resemble Yggdrasil, the tree of life that binds together the 9 worlds of Norse mythology. The philosophy of Attack on Titan revolves around the themes of survival, sacrifice, and the role of the state in society. The show draws heavily from the ideas of Thomas Hobbes and Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel, 2 of the most influential philosophers in modern history. Hobbes believed that human beings were inherently selfish and violent, driven by a desire for self-preservation. He famously wrote that life in a state of nature was solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. In Attack on Titans, this idea is reflected in the constant struggle for survival that the characters face. The Titans represent a primal force that threatens to wipe out humanity entirely. Only through strength and aggression can they hope to survive. Hegel, on the other hand, believed that the state was the ultimate expression of human freedom and morality. He saw the state as a necessary institution that could provide order and stability in a chaotic world. In Attack on Titan, this idea is reflected in the way that the government uses the Titans as a scapegoat to control the population. By presenting the Titans as an external threat, they are able to unite the people behind a common cause. However, the show also explores the darker side of these ideas. When their vision of the ethical state of Hegel merges with the wicked concept of man in Hobbes, the result is a dystopian society where conflict and inequality are the norm. It also incorporates the philosophy of Carl Schmitt, a German jurist who believed that a stable society required a clear distinction between friends and enemies. In Attack on Titan, this idea is reflected in the way that the government uses propaganda and censorship to control control the population. For an anime that's centered around giant humanoid monsters and their battles, it may seem like an untimely place for the inclusion of a primordial worm from the Middle Cambrian period. However, the inclusion of Hallucigenia, a real-life animal found in fossil records, showcases the series' interest in incorporating scientific concepts into its fictional world. Hallucigenia, in reality, was an animal that lived in the ocean and measured only a few centimeters long. The version of Hallucigenia depicted in the anime, on the other hand, is a giant spinal worm with the power to transform humans into monstrous titans. While the depiction in the show is a far cry from reality, it highlights the willingness of Attack on Titan to draw on scientific concepts and explore the unknown. The surreal appearance and status of Hallucigenia as a primordial life form makes it a fascinating subject for the imagination, particularly because so little is known about the creature from the Cambrian period. Incorporating real-life science into a fictional narrative is not a new concept, but Attack on Titan takes it to another level by introducing Hallucigenia as a catalyst for Ymir's transformation. While this inclusion may not make scientific sense, it adds to the mystery of how it all came to be. Marvelous verdict. The concept of the source of all living matter may not be new in science fiction, but the way it's portrayed in this series demands our attention. Ymir Fritz's encounter with the anomaly beneath the colossal tree, to its ability to affect organic life in its immediate vicinity, this mysterious force leaves us with many unanswered questions. Yet despite the mystery surrounding it, the anomaly's connection to the power of the Titans and the consciousness of living and deceased Eldians through the paths is a profound phenomenon that speaks to life coming around full circle.